What's up, everybody? Welcome back to more Farming Sim SWU. Today we're recreating my grandparents' farm. It was 30 years ago, around 30 years ago, when I first visited the farm. So I'm pulling this back deep from my memories and a little bit of help from Google Maps. I'm not necessarily creating this to use in game. It was more to create a vibe and a feel that I got from visiting it and replicate it in game and make, a cool build that is personal to me. So right now we're building the entrance, and everything about this farm and visiting it and my memories is about the entrance. And so that was the big thing that I wanted. I wanted some good screenshots and screen grabs and cinematic shots that we could get from entering the property. Creating the pond here basically is the main feature to me of the farm. The biggest thing that I remember as a kid was the pond in the entrance. It was so unique to me and so awesome. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, so when I went back to Pennsylvania and visited the grandparents on their farm, this was a totally different world to me. Started opening up my eyes to agriculture and the whole different world that's not part of a big city. I had big aspirations for this build. Originally, I was going to model their house, and I started doing that in Blender, but the time it was taking and learning how to translate that into Giant's editor, I thought I would just do it with assets that are already available. So this isn't like for like completely, but there are a couple buildings that definitely look the same as the grandparents' farm. This area in Pennsylvania has a ton of trees, so I was trying to lay down the layout of the buildings to begin with, and then we'll start detailing it up and start adding in the things that make it feel like that part of the country instead of Frankenmuth, which is the map I'm using for this. It was just a nice flat map, and I knew I could do what I wanted to on it. I did raise up the ground a little bit for this shed here, and this is the one that looks 100% the same as the one they had in real life. I love it. But I wanted to raise that up a little bit, just add a little bit of terrain, and I think I'm going to start playing with that a lot in my builds moving forward, is having different levels of terrain so that the buildings have different heights and it changes the way your eye looks at it. I think that really makes for a great experience. What I'm doing right here is really getting a vibe check and seeing if it gives me the same feelings that I was hoping I got when making it. And the main thing that stands out to me right now is everything feels too new. The concrete or the asphalt there feels too new. The grass I wish I could have different layers and different heights and blend it a little bit better than I did. Going back, I'd probably change that a little bit, add some more depth to the grass. But here we're starting to use some of the decals that are out there that can start making the asphalt just look aged, and I was really trying to add a little bit of age to this build. The other big memory I had was this huge cow pasture that they had, and sitting in their back porch and eating burgers from their own cattle was just the most amazing thing at a young age. I'm adding in a couple vehicles here, a nice old truck, a side-by-side, and then we're also going to add a farm-all. And I do remember him having an old International tractor that looks similar to this farm-all here, and I couldn't find the exact model, so I went with this one. Pretty good to replicate it, but I don't remember a lot of equipment, so I just went with that. That's all I added to the build because I don't remember the equipment they had, so I went with it. Starting to do the backyard area and get a little distracted here. We're going to add a bench. We're going to add some seating area where we could sit outside because the summers are beautiful in Pennsylvania. So you go outside to eat, and it was an amazing thing. But over here, a little junkyard area, just kind of showing off, we got some things. We didn't really want to throw them away. They'd just been on the farm for years. And wanting to really add that back into this thick area of woods that we added, just to give it a little more character, a little more uniqueness. Had to have the barbecue. Granddad loved to make those burgers for us when we were in town. We got that fresh beef, and I still remember it to this day being the best burger I've ever had in my life. A couple more seating areas. I remember there being some more traditional picnic benches, but I went with these ones just to kind of have fun with it and, you know, using the resources that I have to my disposal. Another vibe check here, just flying over the property. It's getting pretty close to what I want. The other feature here that I wanted to add is a path that leads to my aunt's property or my aunt's house, and it kind of just ties the two properties together. Probably should go back and have it actually loop behind the barn as well, because right now it's kind of a dead end, but just getting the pieces in place and enjoying it, and wanted to show that there was a link to another property here. And then we also start distressing the concrete as well on this side. Again, just to make it look really old and unique, I guess. And it's struggling with some words to describe here, but I didn't want it to look brand new. I wanted it to look like it's been lived in, and I think we pulled it off. Now jumping into the live game here to kind of give a tour of everything. The big thing that stood out to me on Street View was there was this flower pot here. I don't remember if it when I was a kid, but it's definitely in the Street View. So I added in the little windmill there, but the trees here, they're probably a little thicker in real life, but wanted to replicate it as best I could. And this thing's cute. I love this little decoration. That worked out great, but definitely gives me the vibes that I felt as a kid coming to this property. And like I said earlier, the biggest thing that always stood out to me was this pond, the barns in the background as well. A lot of stories about the ponds that are pretty funny, but we'll leave those out for now. But the house, again, it would be nice if it was more similar to the one there. But I think overall, I love it. It turned out great. Kind of has a nice feel that we're in the middle of a forest now. We have a lot of trees around it. It's pretty dense back there with the amount of trees. And I don't know, I feel like we pulled it off. Let me know what you think. You want to see more builds like this? We'll definitely do it. I'm Socks Way Up. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you on the next one.